work in the rando community. I don't know too much about Skippy, but this will be the first time we get to actually see either of them play, so really looking forward to a new experience.
Yeah, and it looks like we're off, and our first chest is going to be Piece of Heart. As far as our sprites, we've got Skipsy using the Nature Link, and we've got SakuraTsubasa using the Maple Queen, because why not play as yourself if you're able to?
And Uncle not carrying that sword out means we're going to get something other than a sword on the Uncle location. I'm always a fan of the bow, but anything will do.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the runners, what Skipsy might want. I know Sakura is probably looking for the Cane of Burner as it's her favorite weapon. But we'll see if that's what she gets. But no, we're going to start with Hammer. That's one of the good ones to start with, though.
Yeah, no Cane of Burner, so no sparkles, but Hammer actually being able to clear the dungeon and farm efficiently for bombs, and the boots are going to save a lot of time this seed. Gotta go fast.
Yeah, and the nice thing about the boots as well is they do not need to worry about a bomb drop anymore. You can bonk that wall back there.
Absolutely, that's an excellent point. Typically, farming for bombs in the escape sequence is one of the more time-consuming diversions that the runners have to do. I don't want to risk leaving those 3 items in the back of escape.
But. Yeah, and with the hammer, it is one of those weapons it's easier to farm with because you don't have to worry about ammo, magic, anything like that. But just having the boots this early, you get to go fast everywhere.
Yeah, seeing Saku still kill a few enemies that are not too far out of the way. Probably still want to pick up a few bombs. One have to go all the way down to the bottom of Kakariko to buy them or farm for rupees. So definitely want at least 3 by the time you enter Kakariko or have money.
Yeah, and depending on what's actually in these chests inside of the escape, it might be in here for a while too. If no rupees, and then we get to Kakariko, that could leave chests just sitting there if we don't find any bombs either. It's a very rare chance, but it could happen.
Finding the lamp, that's always a very interesting item to find in Escape, because Escape gives you a free light cone, but now with the lamp, it's kind of like a little redundant.
Yeah, don't need that anymore, so no dark rooms either, which I'm sure both runners are happy to see this early.
Absolutely. It's so hard to tell what a runner's skill are in dark rooms. You might be able to do something like the old man sequence break or the early rooms in Eastern and be completely unable to do Mire. There's so much variance. But finding 50 rubies, though, that's at least bomb money.
Yeah, we've got bomb money, and the next chest they're going to find will have to be a small key at this point.
Right, the next chest will be in the dark sewers, and they'll need that for the door. I don't think we didn't see the map, so there's still 3 items left.
Yep. So between the 3 items in the back of escape or sanctuary chest, one of those has to be the map at this point.
Well, it's been a long time since I've actually watched a swordless seed. This is not a swordless mode. This is standard mode, so that there are still things that they require the sword to do. But it would be nice to see them go for a while with just the hammer. Nice for us anyway. I'm sure not nice for them.
Yeah, they might want a sword, but at the very least, if they don't get a sword for very early, they don't have to worry about AGA 1 at the very least.
That's absolutely a nice thing to have, especially when you see the lamp show up. That's the first thing you think of. Am I going to have to do AGA 1? But not having the sword means that you can't dash through enemies, and that's one of those things that takes a lot of fighting against muscle memory when you have the boots, not to dash into things.
Yeah, definitely.
Ooh, nice 4 bomb drop on Skippy side.
Yeah, so that'll help us routing in Kakariko. We'll see if Saku ends up getting that.
Well, Skip is definitely good to go for all of Kakariko at this point.
Yeah, everything is at Bottle Merchant. We're still short on money. We've only really found that 50 inside of Zelda's chest. And Saku's still farming for bombs.
Makes sense. Those snakes are kind of in the way, and also picks up the 4 bomb and a 1 bomb off the same enemies. So it seems like snakes are in a very favorable price pool this seed.
Yeah, and Skipsy opting to use a bomb. And we have the gloves back there as well, so that's big, because now we only need a Moon Pearl at this point for Dark World access.
I don't blame him for using a bomb at that point. It's you know, it's easy to forget that you have the boots this early in the game, and that you can block that. The bomb is really just muscle memory, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, picking up the gloves means that that neither of the runners is going to have to. Well, they wouldn't have to do any backtracking.
And checks the Sanctuary chest, but since we found 3 items in the back of his skate, we know that was going to be a map.
Yeah, it's definitely too early until we see what the Kakariko cache has in store for us to guess where they're going next. But the glove and the lamp also opens up the initial Death Mountain access. So mirror or hookshot will give them some nice items up there as well.
Yeah, that might. I mean, it might even be pointing just to an item being up there, even at this point.
Yeah, I definitely like finding hammer and gloves rather than finding, you know, the gloves in the Moon Pearl. The Moon Pearl's, you know, the one that you're definitely going to find the easiest, given how it's required for all of Dark World.
Potentially the easiest. It could be something really mean, like on the pyramid. And
Well,
speaking of mean, that's not something you want to see on Ego Ledge.
Yeah. They're definitely going to do if they get the book, they're going to find out whether they need the powder.
Yeah, it's just one of those locations. Skipsy he's gonna opt to actually skip that 20 rupees, which is a little surprising considering he's missing as many rupees as he is for the bottle merchant. No guarantee you're gonna find any in Kakariko. We have a mushroom though. See, what'll be interesting though with that mushroom is if you turn it in right away or you wait until you find Samaria so you can fake powder, knowing that the powder is on Ego 1.
Well, that mushroom is it's pretty close to its vanilla location, only 1 spot away. And you're absolutely right. Until you know that you don't need the magic bat item, unless you're at a point where you have no other options, I think holding on to that makes a lot of sense.
But Saku saving the old man. Thankfully gets to save him before taking that rock.
Yeah, only 3 hearts of health and taking 1 hit of damage for each of those rocks. It's kind of inevitable you're going to take a hit. We're finding a lot of value in Blindscape here.
Yep.
Red Meringue, Blue Mail. I love early Blue Mail.
Yeah, and the book, so that opens up the desert area a little bit for us. Actually, it opens it up entirely.
Absolutely. With a fire source and the gloves, they can full clear desert. We haven't seen a map check, so we don't know where they need to go, but we know where they can go.
I mean, right now, it almost seems like the seat's pushing to desert right now.
Well, nothing up here that Saku can access that's worthwhile. So it's good knowledge that she obtained, knowing that there isn't anything really important like the Moon Pearl hiding out in Spectacle Rock Cave.
Yep.
And of course, unlocking that save point means that getting back up there is going to be fast.
Yeah, and she's actually going to route to the south, it looks like, first.
Interesting route, skipping Kakariko. You very rarely see this.
We have silvers in the Kakariko well.
Another nice early item to find.
Ooh, unfortunately, Skipsy missing with that bomb, so he's gonna have to go buy bombs and then come back in there to get that.
Well, don't throw bombs in Christos' house. Saku finds her first bottle. So when she does ride in Kakariko, that'll be one less backtrack. She'll be able to do the Sick Kid fetch quest.
Yeah, which if there's something there, that really helps her out then.
Ooh, unfortunately taking another death to those crabs. Two damage and only 3 hearts is not going to get you too far.
No, those crabs are not friendly when you have green mail and 3 hearts. You only can survive 1 health or 1 hit, and that's even if you're at full health. She's making the play over to Kakariko, though.
Yeah, well, with only the 5 items left in Mini Mordorm Cave, Kakariko now becomes the more item-dense location. And once she picks up her blue mail, that'll give her a little extra safety. Skips is already up to 5 hearts.
Yeah, she'll also have some more hearts as well. So we'll see what's in the library. If it's anything important, we can get it right away. Just a piece of heart, though.
A piece of heart can be important when you only have 5.
And I believe Skipsy's going to blind check the race game.
Skipsy does not want to bonk into those walls.
But Saku picking up her mushrooms, going to hit in Kakariko, get the treasure trove of items that we found there. Speaking of treasure trove, there's more.
Absolutely valuable there.
So now it'll be interesting to see if Skipsy's going to head up to Death Mountain, or if he's going to check Mini Moldorm Cave first, which looks like he's going to do Lake Hylia and Mini Moldorm Cave.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. This is the fairly standard routing. These are all Sphere 1 item locations, and they're all quick to get. If he finds, you know, a mirror down here or the mitts, then that's going to make his Death Mountain trip even more efficient.
Yeah, definitely. Saku getting her red meringue, her book, and her blue mail.
Skip's attempting to hookshot through the block and open the chest, but was off by a little bit. It's unfortunately going to have to do the transition to get that second item.
Yep, sees it's a bottle. He'll grab that on when he comes back out.
Yeah, those hook shots through blocks can be a little bit tricky to do. You have to time it just as the block is moving in order to clip through it. Skip's very nicely dodging the crab there. Only 4 hearts, just be careful. We got our first look at Mini Mordorm Cave. Hookshot makes this much easier than the hammer.
Yeah, definitely. And even those crabs, he does have blue mail, so they'd only take 1 heart of damage from them, so they're not as dangerous right now.
Yeah, it's less about the damage as the difficulty in hitting them with the hammer. They're just so fast, and that hitbox is so small.
Oh, Mini Moldorm has the bow, so that puts Eastern in logic then, too. Absolutely,
fully clearable with the lamp and the bow.
Actually, all 3 Light World dungeons.
Yeah. All of Light World. Well, it may be quite a while before we find that Moon Pearl, because they don't need it.
Actually, with that being said, we haven't actually had a map check by either runner at this point. So we don't know if we have 3 Light World pendants. If that's possible, it could actually be Moon Pearl on the pedestal.
Absolutely. They're just going through the motions at this point, checking the standard route. They haven't reached the point yet where they really need to make a decision on divergence, but picking up his first sword, Skippy is probably about to give us our first map check.
Yeah, probably, or he'll head up to Death Mountain first, potentially. We'll see. No, he's doing that, so probably over to Eastern. Nope.
And Eastern being a red crystal is going to be our priority. 3 items in the dungeon, he'll be able to get all 3 of them, as well as the 3 items at Sasha's hut. It's great item density.
Yeah, and Tower of Hera was our green, and then Desert Palace was another crystal.
With boots, it's so easy to make their way over to Desert, and Desert is a very quick dungeon to clear with boots. Silver Arrows makes the bosses trivial. I can imagine that being the next step. There's just no good reason to head over to Dark World.
No, I mean, right now we can't even do that, but I think the other interesting thing you could do first is, with the hook shot now, go back up to Death Mountain and clear out Hera. With it being a green pendant, you can immediately turn it into Sahasrara when you're checking Eastern.
You absolutely can do that, and that will save you a little bit of time, but with the boots, it's pretty fast to get back here. And if you can skip clearing Hera altogether, that might end up being a little bit more time savings than the backtrack. So doing Eastern first definitely makes sense to me, but it looks like we are seeing the Death Mountain side from Saku.
Yeah, and she hasn't done a map check yet, so she's not aware of the pendants. But hopefully she doesn't stay too far away from any Moldorm Cave or Ice Rod Cave, with it being a sword and the bow sitting there.
Absolutely. I think that the sword at this point is, just from a convenience standpoint, more value. We can see Skippy really taking advantage of the dashing in this palace, a palace that, it was never meant to have boots, but it seems to have been designed with them in mind.
And we're getting Paradox, which the bottom just has 20 rupees and another piece of heart.
I'm fine with that. We've had enough progression so far.
These Trolldorms are not enjoying Saku's presence right now.
No, those are very territorial enemies. And
Right, so
nothing in Light World East Death Mountain.
Yeah, well, we still have Spiral Cave available.
We do, but I'm just gonna assume that's nothing. I mean, it's Spiral Cave. Spiral Cave has value when you have to walk it, but when they give you the boots, it's probably nothing.
Yeah, and from judging from the items we've seen so far in Eastern, Armos will have an item, and the other one is in the dark area, but we have the lamp, so it's not a big deal.
So I didn't catch what was up on the floating island there. It was a very quick check on Saku's side. Did you happen to notice it?
No, I did not catch that either.
We're going to keep an eye on chat then. Canterbury? Okay, thank you, chat. Might be worth picking up once they get Dark World access and the mirror. It depends on where they are at their progression at that point.
Yeah, and Saku might just do it anyways because that's her favorite item. So
that is a good point. It sparkles. Skip's doing the nice iframe damage boost skip there to pick up the vanilla big key location in Eastern. Very common trick, fun to do.
Yeah, and we had the big key in the very first area of Hera, so we might not even have to go to the basement. But Saku's going to skip the other item for right now and see if they're up on the top.
Yeah, you either want to find the big key in the basement and know that your opponent has to do it, or find both items without going into the basement and knowing that you don't have to gamble. Those are really the only ways that works out well. So doing a Silver Arrow Armos 18 minutes in is very fun to see.
Oh, we have flippers.
Flippers is interesting. That opens up 4 locations in the Light World that they have access to, and of course Ice and Swamp in the Dark World.
Well, it only actually opened up 3 because we already had access to Zora before with the gloves.
I meant Zora's Ledge, the 2 items in the waterfall, and Hobo.
Oh yeah, that's right, Hobo. I forget about Hobo sometimes.
Well, you're supposed to forget about the Hobo. That's kind of the point. He's living under the bridge for a reason. He doesn't want to be disturbed.
Alright, but Skipsy has a very nice fight against Armos. Gonna save and quit. We'll see where he goes now. From the looks of it, might be going to Desert.
And for
no.
Unfortunately, Saku falling down 2 floors. That's an unfriendly climb back up. For lack of any other option, and for being the best option, we're seeing hammer strats on Moldorm. Only 3 hits with the hammer, doing tempered sword damage and skipping that quick phase that you get if you use 6 fighter sword attacks.
Yeah, nobody likes that phase.
No, it's not so bad with the sword if you can use that to keep yourself from getting knocked off, but without that,
Oh
no, another hit.
I thought she almost had it, just missed the last hammer strike. Egg in his cave just having bombs.
She's got to be a little bit careful. Down to half of her health. I don't know if she has the pegs lowered. I didn't catch it to see when she gets.
Yeah, she did lower the pegs.
All right, that's always a wise safety, lowering the orange blocks. You could pick up like 20 heart pieces there.
Desert Ledge just having a big 20.
Moldorm, take 3. You can do it, Saku.
I just one more hammer. Oh no.
Moldorm is he's earning his nickname Trolldorm today. If you're gonna fall though, you want to fall 1 floor, not 2.
Trolldorm is not having any of it today. So we had a compass on the torch in desert.
So we see just a compass on the desert torch. Even though they have the boots, it's always nice to know whether it would have been boots locked.
And this time Saku gets him down. Alright, and half magic in there, plus a green pendant. So, basement trip is not necessary.
Well, other than the lamp at this point, they don't have anything to use the magic on, but half magic is one of my favorite safety items to get. Just doubling your fire rod shots from 8 to 16 comes in handy in so many locations.
Yeah, especially if you have to do something like Skull Woods with low health, and a fighter's sword or a hammer if that ends up being a thing. Most runners are going to want to use a fire rod, and half magic just makes that so much easier.
Yeah, I think it's like 400 lamp lights or something. Lamp uses so little magic.
Alright, so we've got Sanctuary Heart in Desert, but that's both items already, so Landmolas won't have anything other than that crystal. And a piece of heart in Spiral.
Spiral not paying out. Well, that was a successful Death Mountain trip. Picking up the pendant and the half magic at least is valuable. Like you said, she's going to be able to turn in that pendant when she does her Sash's hut trip. We know there's nothing in the hut, but the pendant might have something valuable.
Yeah, and she's going to. We'll see where she ends up going now. Looks like she's going to make the play to Desert.
That is an interesting play. Still hasn't picked up the sword or the bow in the mini Moldorm area. So it's going to make this a little bit harder.
I mean, she'll be able to use hammer at the very least on the Landmolas. Not going to be as easy as Skipsy's fight, where he'll be able to use silver arrows, but it's a lot easier than some of the fights we've seen so far.
Speaking of which, Skippy heading into Landmo right now and pulling out that bow. Two out of 3. That's not bad for one cycle.
Alright, and Landmo gets the map and the second crystal.
Yeah, so Saku's following a standard, fairly standard practice. If there's a dungeon that you're able to full clear, then you just go in and full clear it. That becomes your priority. She'll absolutely, go to Mini Moldorm Cave at some point. With the flippers, maybe he's going to check those items and then check some water items. That leads her up to Zor. That's a place you're going to want to save and quit out of instead of have to come back from. So it's actually pretty good routing.
Yeah, I would even see her potentially doing that after this, and then after Zor's, at that point she'll have to go to Eastern.
Absolutely. Like I said, it's good routing, being able to save and quit from a location so far away like Zora.
The bow was in Mini Moldorm Cave.
So we got a little bit of time here while the runners are repeating each other's steps. Saku finishing up Desert and Skips doing the Death Mountain. Never too early to remind everyone to follow the runners. Their links are in the Twitch chat. They're putting on a great show for us. Free entertainment. I love it.
Yeah, and we've seen all the items out of Eastern. There wasn't anything progression-wise. We know Death Mountain doesn't have anything outside of those flippers. So I think the progression either has to be in Zor's area or it's on that green pendant.
Yeah, absolutely. Aiga's Towers is still not yet accessible without a second sword upgrade or the cape.
Yeah, and Saku's actually going to skip out and leave Desert. Which isn't necessarily a bad call, because we don't know about Misery Mire yet, but if she has to do Misery Mire, she's really not losing that much time at all, just coming back and routing it in with Misery Mire.
That makes sense. If she found both of the items she needs, then all she needs is the crystal, and coming back to kill Lambo when you have better equipment than the hammer, there's no reason to fight it now.
Yeah, it's not, the seed's not forcing you. If it was forcing you to do it, then yeah, of course you have to fight it, but you've got both items, so you know he's not going to have progression except for the crystal, but that's not important.
Yeah, that's excellent thinking ahead on her part.
Alright, she's going to get her bow. Piece of heart. Let's see if she goes to Ice Rod Cave, though.
Yeah, I expect Ice Rod Cave, and then jumping into the water on the way back down. Very convenient route to take at this point.
Yeah, the only way I would say not, because it looks like she is going to go to Ice Rod is because those flippers might just be like, I'm going to go to the water area and maybe gamble that Ice Rod doesn't have anything.
Yeah, and Ice Rod really isn't... Right, Blue Canyon is now, they installed that time. Ice Rod is, it's out of the way if you have to walk there, but with boots, it's just, you can't justify skipping it.
Yeah, it's not that much of a check. Skipsy's gonna go check Ether Tablet and then probably head up to Hera. Saku gets her sword.
Just 10 arrows on the Ether Tablet. We're not going to be seeing that again.
Yep, and she's going to route the water area now. So we're going to have 5 total items that are locked in the water. We've got, which we already had access to one of them, but we've got the Hobo Under the Bridge, the 2 in Waterfall Wishing, Zora Ledge, and Zora itself.
And we'll get knowledge here of the Halia item, which is just a red ruby. So runners are about on even pace with each other. Skips is finishing up Hera, which Saku already did, and Saku will be heading to Eastern very soon, which is a dungeon that Skips already did. So thinking ahead, essentially they're going to be done the light world after these dungeons. So, yeah,
Speaking of Light World, we can go to its opposite now because Hobo actually had the Moon Pearl.
well, like you said, it had to be in the Zora area, and it was indeed a waterlocked item location. So I think Saku is doing this makes a lot of sense. You know, just finish this out while you're here. Sometimes it can be tempting to change your route when you pick up a new item, but there's still 4 items here, and you don't want to forget them.
Yeah, so no reason you want to check that. Oh, got a bottle with fairy, piece of heart. So we got a nice safety.
It's our second fairy, I believe, or was the other one a bee?
Other one was a bee.
I'd like to get rid of that bee and throw the empty bottle and find out what the free item is.
Up and down goes Moldorm. On Skipsy's side, we see a heart container on Zora Ledge. Skipsy picks up his half magic, his green pendant, and we're gonna get a check on Zora.
A full heart container is maybe worth picking up. That's not too far out of the way. And the standard life lessons from Zora.
Yep, and nobody's turned in the mushroom yet, and like I said, I think they might just both be saving that for a fake powder if necessary, knowing, well, Saku doesn't know, but Skipsy knowing that powder is sitting on Aga Ledge.
That, and there really hasn't been any efficient time to route the witch in. It's something that, you know, unless they run out of items, it makes sense to do once you get the flute, when you're buying potions, if you have mirror and you're doing, you know, that dark world route, and they just haven't been in the area yet. Well,
Yep.
we will get a look right now at what that green pendant item is from Saku.
Well, we went a little bit. On her way out.
She's keeping us in suspense as long as possible.
Oh, she...
A very long time.
Remember that... maybe she doesn't remember she has the green pendant.
Oh, that's just mean. She jumped down. I thought she was coming back in.
Yeah, she was using the super speed glitch, which if you're doing that, if you just touch an edge, you immediately fall. You don't have to hold the direction. Well, Skipsy is going to turn the mushroom in.
Well, hopefully for Saku, that green pendant is not key progression, because you know, if you forget it once, it's easy to forget that it's this a second time, especially, you know, when you're in that location.
Yeah, hopefully she remembers that she has that, because I'm guessing that's where Skipsy's heading next. We found out mushroom was just a piece of heart, so nothing important there, and I'm sure he's on his way to turn that green pendant in now, and then depending on what he finds there, which there really can't be too much that would unlock anything, he'll be checking the water areas as well.
Yeah, he has just enough money to do it. Gets the sword spin third attempt. And do we get a green pendant item? And it's another bee in a bottle.
Okay, so that's good for Saku. It's not an important item.
Well, I think that's going to come down to who you ask. I know some people who absolutely love getting the bees in the bottles, but definitely not a critical item. I don't think we've seen, I'm just looking at Saku stunning all these enemies. I don't think we've seen what the stun price is yet.
I think she's just stunning them to keep them out of her way. And Skipsy, not having checked Sick Kid yet, is actually going to check that first. Yeah, so since he's got all these kind of one-off locations he's checking right now, with Saku's routing, what she could potentially do when she's finished with Eastern is use the portal south of Eastern Palace and just immediately go to Pod.
Without knowing where you need to go in Dark World, where the crystals are, that makes as much sense as anything else.
Well, even if it does become a pendant, it's still 5 items there.
Yeah, she's going to have to make sure that she picks up a little bit of money before leaving Eastern to get the 110 rupees required for Kiki. Most likely we're going to get a little bit more than that because after Pod, you have Digging Game and Chest Game in Thieves Town.
Yep, that is true. So I don't know if there was any rupees inside of Pod. Or Eastern, I meant.
Oh, the back right room of Eastern has a floor full of blue rupees. I think there's 200 or so in there.
Yeah. So
if she thinks of that and routes it in, she'll be okay. Alex Skips did the fake flipper. Has the flippers, but it still did the one pixel trick.
I mean, why not? It's practice.
That's swag.
Oh, she's not checking the rupee room though. Isabella Love, both racers are 1 and 2.
Well, Skips will be finishing up the Zora area just as Saku finishes up the Eastern area, and that essentially puts them at almost perfect sync.
Yeah, they've checked everything except Saku just having that green pendant still.
Yes, Saku has to go back and finish Lambo in the end, but that's, a minute out of the way. Late game. And a flawless silver execution.
Okay, there were 5 rupees on Armos, but we still need another 25. Skipsy also will not have the money for Pod. If he wants to go there, he'll even have less than what Saku has.
Well, it looks like you're right. It looks like she's going to take that portal. There's nothing else down here, so that's the only logical place to go.
Yeah, hopefully she sees her rupee count and knows that she doesn't have enough, though.
Yeah, unfortunately, if you pick up Kiki, you're going to lose those 10. Even if you aren't able to take them in, then you're going to have to get 35 more rupees. Because he will charge you twice. He doesn't stamp your hand or anything.
Yep, Kiki, the ultimate extortionist. So she is going, not looking at the rupee count. Skipsy, in the meantime, looks like he's going to check Hype Cave.
So whether he realizes that he doesn't have the money or just decides that the item density at Hype Cave is quicker and wants to route in Southern Dark World over the Thieves Town area, anyone's guess. And Saku finding out, yep, does not have the money. Kiki bailing on her.
Yep. Well, there's 5 of Kiki's money. Now we need 30. Alright, Skipsy getting 20 from Hype Cave. Another 20. Well, there's the money for Pod, and we got Titan's mitts.
Well, I think the mitts are a little more valuable than the money.
Yeah, it does open quite a bit up. We need a mirror for Swamp.
Well, this is going to make his decision to head left and do the Southern Dark World checks all that much better. He just got enough money for the digging game, and the mitts will let him head north into Village of Outcasts without having to save and quit and start all over from the top. You can just pick up the block and head north, and 20 more rupees.
Yep, 20 more rupees.
He's a little short for the chest game still, but getting there. We got our first pyramid check over by Saku, and this 20 rupees, what she's actually going to get.
Yeah, she'll pick that up because she wants to go to Pod at this point. Now we need 20 rupees, and Pod ends up just being a pendant. Swamp is our other pendant, and Thieves Town being our other crystal that we need for Fat Fairy.
Thieves Town being the other red crystal is probably the best thing that they could get. Easy to complete dungeon, and they already have the hammer, so they can full clear it. And picking up bombos in the digging game, that's some nice value.
Yeah, that opens up Ice Palace.
Indeed. Indeed it does. I wouldn't put Ice Palace too high on the priority list at the moment with so many other places to go, but it puts it in logic.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So Skipsy going directly for the hammer peg check, rather than waiting to route that in with later options. And we got a catfish check, so both of them doing the these out of the way one-offs. Catfish being more out of the way than the other ones.
Nope, and Skipsy saying no to Swagnet.
Oh, that's a shame. I definitely like picking up the net, but yeah. So no, we're not going to see any captured fairies for Skips other than the one that he already has. That could be a little dangerous.
Looks like Saku's making the same route that Skipsy just did. Is going to check Hype Cave. She's going to get her money for Pod. We'll see if she decides to go back there with it being a pendant, or if she kind of makes the same way and goes to the Village of Outcasts.
She might be thinking Pod, but once she finds those mitts, I think that's going to change her mind.
Oh, Skipsy going back and getting Swagnet, I guess.
Making the swag appropriate choice. A little bit belatedly, but ends up making the correct choice in the end, so good job.
Saku's going to get her money and her Titan's mitts. Just getting more checks in Village of Outcasts. Probably going to Thieves Town when we're done with this one.
Absolutely, chat. Late swag is better than no swag. And we are seeing the same play on Saku's side, following up in Skippy's.
Yep, and oh, nope, he just opens these, so he hasn't done chess game just yet.
Yeah, it's good to get all these three locations out of the way. You might find something that helps you progress in Thieves' Town to make it a little easier. Red mail, powder, get some anti-fairies, anything, might as well. They're not that far out of the way. Yeah, this will be a full clear dungeon for both players. Saku checked the pyramid, but Skips will be able to route that in and pick up all three items in one trip. He will be able to. A little bit of time savings.
Yeah, green pendant was checked. It was just a bee with in a bottle. All right, Saku getting her bombos.
Kind of just doing the normal route through Thieves' Town here. Nothing too exciting happens in Thieves' Town, and Saku is just repeating the Village of Outcasts sequence. So trying to think about where they're going to go next after this. Skullwood's being a crystal. They can't get in. They can't clear it without the fire rod, but those two chests are pretty convenient to access. They have access to both of the bonk locations in the light world, which neither runner has checked yet.
They did check the bonk rocks already.
They did bonk rocks? Okay.
Yeah, as they had the boots coming out of Escape, so they did it on the route to Kakariko.
Well, now they have the King's Tomb access.
Yep, King's Tomb is accessible. We'll see if Sakura goes back in. Yep.
So you also picking up the swag net. And it's fun to joke about it, but it really is a valuable item. There are so many, if they get powder, they'll be able to collect all the fairies from these abundant anti-fairies in the dark world. Even if they don't, there's lots of hidden rooms that they can access fairies just flying around.
Yeah, I don't see them getting powder really at this point unless it becomes like the very last location and they find out they have to run Ega 1.
Yeah, but I forgot it was on the ledge there. I was talking to more powder in general. Given the fact that it's on the ledge, there's no reason to get it.
I believe Saku still has her mushroom though, so a fake powder on her side is still possible. Yeah, Skipsy's still making his way through Thieves Town. Sakura just entering Thieves Town.
Yeah. It's not impossible for there to be, you know, significant required progression on the magic bat. You know, almost anything can be there, but that would really be catastrophic if for Skips if it ends up being something that you can access via the fake mushroom.
Yeah, that's assuming the mushroom was just a piece of heart.
So no small key for Skips, which means that the key is locked behind that door in the big chest itself. So the last item will be on blind.
Yep, so we do not have to worry about that. Blind will never have a key for that.
It's a shame that rarely happens when you come in here without the hammer. When you have the hammer, you don't need it.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
So perfect first cycle. Looks like he's definitely practiced this fight. And perfect second cycle.
It's a little off on the third phase, but the third phase is the hardest one.
Yeah, almost perfect blind, and just gets a big 20 for it though.
Yeah, so I don't think there was anything really important in Thieves Town other than that other, the other 5-6 crystals. So that's Fat Fairy, which we'll see if Skipsy decides to go up to Skull Woods or go towards the pod area and route the Fat Fairy in.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like he's not opting for Skull Woods. Normally I like checking those two locations, but there's so much else that's open. I can absolutely understand his thinking.
Yeah, and that's what he looks like he's going to do.
I have a really bad feeling about the magic bat.
Yeah, that's one of those few items that's like, if you're going to see an item on Egg Ledge that you need, you don't want to see something like powder, shovel, book, basically any of those fetch quest items, or the medallions, because then you have to wait until you even need to know if you need to go into Misery Maya or Turtle Rock, and even if they're pendants, it's still, back of your mind, progression can still be in there.
Well, they still don't have Aga Tower access, so they couldn't get it even if they wanted to at this point.
Yep, it would be, yeah, they don't need a cape or another sword still. So powder is considered a fetch quest item because it only opens up Magic Bat.
Okay, what do we find in the pyramid? First item is just a large heart and a big 20.
Alright, so nothing
pyramid's a
important
boss.
there. So we're looking at progression more than likely in a dungeon at this point, and it's either going to be Pod, Skull Woods, or Ice Palace.
Well, I think Pod absolutely makes sense. It's a dungeon that they can full clear with the equipment they have, and it has more items than Ice, and it has Ice and Skull Woods put together.
Yeah, and the only reason you would think about potentially going to Ice before Pod is you've got Crystal over Pendant.
Absolutely a valid choice. Yeah, there's no wrong answer there.
Yeah, because really not going to Ice basically just means you're kind of gambling. You're going to be able to go mode it later, and then if there's something important in there, you put yourself behind.
I think my biggest objection to Ice at this point is without the Fire Rod, you're doing fighter sword spins or hammer cold stare fights, and I think I don't really see that as an ideal choice with the items that they have versus pod, which they can kill with the hammer and silver arrow.
Yeah, definitely, it's not ideal whatsoever. You want at least a master sword. More than likely to go in there and better than that if you have to choose. But sometimes the Seeds just don't want to play nice with weapons. We've seen some pretty bad boss fights so far.
Well, it looks like Saku is probably going to be doing the full blacksmith chain. Probably going to do purple chest after this. I don't know if she's going to dive all the way back in the dark world for that, unless she does Skull Woods as well.
Oh yeah, chat did point this out. I forgot about this. There are more items in Dark Death Mountain. They have access to that as well.
6 items up there, and they don't have Spike Cave access logically, so 6, not 7. But they'll be able to gain knowledge of the Turtle Rock Medallion. So yeah, that's absolutely. And those are 6 very easy to access items.
Yeah, and I think, with their current health levels, if you're sitting at full health with the fairy, you might be able to just tank Spike Cave at this point. But still, it's not within logic if you do find something there. Skipsy is making the play into Pod, while Sakura is making the play to Dark Death Mountain.
Well, we're not gonna have to wait long to find out what is the right move to make. I do like Pod. I like doing dungeons versus Overworld, despite it being a pendant. But we'll see.
Yeah, well, it's just, I guess I can see the logic in both, because it just seems like in V29 especially that the overworld was given a little bit more priority than it used to when it comes to progression, where it used to be, if you could go into a dungeon, clear it, just do it. Didn't matter if it was a pendant or a crystal, you just go. Whereas the overworld just kind of seems to hold a bit more value, where if you skip these locations, especially high target locations where you have multiple chests, you can make you pay for it really quick.
Well, just health and Super Bunny. So we got 4 items in Hookshot Cave. We're hoping for the value there. And hopefully we get the Turtle Rock Medallion check as well. That's easy to forget. I think that was Ether.
That was Ether, and we found a cape in Pod.
So Cape and Pod gives us Aga Tower access now, and the ever valuable powder. And the Master Sword in Hookshot Cave also gives us Aga Tower access.
Yep, so either way you have access.
At the same time.
The only other thing Cape does do is it does put Spike Cave into logic now.
2 swords!
Well, why not just go Tempered? Who needs a Master Sword?
I don't think she even got the chance to swing that sword once.
I don't think she did. It was just like, oh, I've got a Master Sword. Oh, well, I don't need this anymore.
Well, I mean, you can't go wrong with the sword upgrades. That's, considering that Skips also found the cape. The cape actually unlocks. I was gonna say it unlocks more progression-wise. The mirror there definitely unlocks more progression-wise.
Yeah, the mirror definitely.
The swords unlock the tablets. We know Ether is junk, but we don't know what Bombos is. Unfortunately, Saku can't even get the Bombos without the mirror.
Yeah, but it looks like, well, Skipsy, he can check Bombos. He can't get it either. He doesn't have a Master Sword.
Absolutely.
But Sakura's making the Ice Palace play.
Looks like Skips is trying to set up the hammer jump here. I'm not good at recognizing this, but it looks like he got it.
He did, but no big key yet.
Now, I'm a little surprised to see ice. You know, like obviously it is the crystal, but you know she did Hera, you know, pretty quickly with that being a pendant. But you know, it's definitely possible that picking up that sword made all the difference in deciding to come here to ice, because now it becomes an easy dungeon versus a nightmare.
Yeah, I don't think she would have come here without finding, you know, at least Master Sword maybe, but Tempered Sword is like, okay, I need to clear this dungeon anyways. I have a sword that can do it without, that's not going to make this a pain, so let's just go ahead.
Yeah, that's a difficult, you know, mental situation that you can kind of get locked into. You know, you might be clearing Hookshot Cave and saying that, you know, I'm going to go to Pod next, and then you find an item like Tempered Sword, but your thinking is, I'm going to go to Pod next. You know, being able to react to those changes and reroute on the fly is you know, the sign of true experience that we're seeing here.
Yeah, and then another interesting thing, we found that mirror, and chat's pointing this out because, of course, they want to see a pedestal seed. Pretty much everything we need to complete the seed can be on pedestal at this point, and with the mirror, it's within logic now as well.
Yeah, I'm looking through the items. I can't think of a single item that they need that cannot be on the pedestal.
Yep, Fire Rod can be there, Ice Rod, Canis Samaria, both medallions can be there, and Flute can all be there. Skipsy is going to decide to just clear Pot out. I think there's still one item.
So unfortunately, Saku having a little trouble with this bomb jump here. If you're doing a full clear, it can be slightly faster to skip this. But without having the cane, probably wants the option to you know, just go straight to the boss if that's more convenient. Doesn't find the keys in the order that she wants.
Yeah, probably.
There's a nice room at the end of this dungeon where she can reload on fairies, picking up the net. Good safety.
I thought she almost had it.
I think the headphones are throwing that sprite off a little bit.
That one looks good. Yep, there we go. And Skipsy almost a Helmosaur King.
Okay. Saku being very careful there on the edge not to fall off.
Gets a nice heart. Alright, and Helmosaur King's mask almost off. A couple more hits will do it. There it goes, and he'll switch to silver arrows and put one right between his eyes. And down goes the Helmosaur King.
It's very well timed. The hammer silver arrow switch over didn't even lose the sword positioning. I like that.
Okay, so Helmosaur King didn't have an actual item, so Skipsy might be thinking at this point, getting the mirror, that it potentially could be pedestal seed, and I'm just gonna grab the pendants anyways.
Did he head back and check the big chest after picking up the key?
Yes, he did.
Okay. I was watching Saku. Yeah, the mirror. You know, the mirror isn't. I don't think it's required for anything in this particular seed necessarily. But it does unlock a lot of locations.
Yeah, it unlocks locations. You know, unlocks swamp. But as far as like necessary to complete the seed, no. You know, unless swamp, there's something in swamp or it's pedestal, they technically didn't need that.
Yeah, Cave 45, Graveyard Ledge, Bombos, Swamp Palace, Checkerboard Cave. Well, just a lot of one-off locations, but you know, nothing required yet.
And Sakura releasing that bee, catching a couple fairies, and picking the last one up to get her health back.
So with the mirror and the keep now, it makes a lot of sense to go directly to the northern Dark World route in the King's Tomb, like we're seeing, the Graveyard Ledge, the Bumper Cave Ledge check, and then maybe we'll see the 2 Skullwolds items, or maybe we'll save and quit at that point.
I honestly think we will see the items for Skullwoods, because I think that Skipsy's, with having 2 of the pendants at this point, and Swamp being open, and as many items that are actually open that you need to complete this seed, he's going to route in the pedestal and check the pedestal to see if he's going to need it.
Absolutely. Having the mirror does make that very convenient. Even if he can't unlock the back of Skullwoods, just being in the area gets him close enough. So that's definitely thinking ahead there.
Yeah, and we did find Ether in Ice Palace. So Ice Palace was a required dungeon that has progression inside of it. Nothing huge from it just yet. We don't know Myers' medallion, but it is the medallion in a Turtle Rock, but we can't do anything inside Turtle Rock just yet. We have none of the items required for it. Alright, piece of heart on the Bumper Cave ledge.
That's definitely worth skipping.
Nope, he is not going to Skullwoods. He might be doing the blacksmith chain first.
Yeah, he did the hammer pegs, but he didn't do the blacksmith or the chest, and obviously not the bat. So that'd be just the blacksmith probably.
Well, he'll probably do blacksmith, then grab purple chest and do K45 and bombos. Or wait, he'll check bombos. But there's butter sword.
Oh, Saku picked the sword heavy route. Butter sword is a nice item to find right before the final boss of this dungeon.
Oh yeah, for sure. Tempered sword, you're usually happy with tempered sword, but going to cold stare with butter sword, nobody is going to complain.
Yeah, it's a little bit annoying finding, the mirror a little bit late, having to do this route twice, but this is the best time to route in K45, and if Bombos doesn't lead to anything, you can probably will go to Ice Palace. Might decide to gamble on Swamp.
I think he'll decide to either go Swamp or up Dark Death Mountain before thinking about going in Ice right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're both in agreement that it's the swords that influenced her decision to go to Ice. Which, of course, had the other sword.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know we found 2 items at least in here. I don't know if we found a 3rd yet. So Cold Star might have this last item. We got 1 puff down, though. There's the 2nd.
3 bombs in the purple chest. Nothing there.
And down goes Cold Stare on Saku's side. Just a small key, so that should be all the chests then. So we got all of our items.
Well, a sword progression and a required medallion is definitely value.
Okay, so nothing on Bombos.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Dark Death Mountain, that makes sense. He's going to be very happy when he goes from Fighter Sword to Tempered Sword in 10 seconds.
Yeah, and we're going to see where Saku decides to go after this now. I would guess she's going to make the play to Pod now, because I don't really think she has many locations left outside of that. Oh, get a save and quit. We're gonna go to Sanctuary.
King's Tomb, maybe?
No, well, yeah, she could check King's Tomb. Or is she going to Skull Woods? No, she's gonna do King's Tomb.
That's a quick check. If what you need is here, then you can skip all the pod, maybe. It's not, but you know, it's a quick check nonetheless.
So I think there actually has to be progression inside of Skull Woods then. Or Swamp. So those are only two locations we haven't seen yet.
That's good. This is interesting. Looks like Saku's turning into mushroom.
Yes, she is turning her mushroom in.
Well, she held on to it for a long enough period of time where I think at this point you have to assume that it could be the progression.
Yeah, well, Skipsy gets his Master Sword. And going to quickly discard it and a couple chests here to get tempered.
And also doesn't even get a swing in. Well, that's, like I said, you know, you have to assume that that could be your progression at this point, not having found the red cane yet. It's entirely possible the mushroom could have led to the red cane, so holding on to it indefinitely would not have paid off. But yeah, that puts them on at least a level playing field. If they do need to find a magic bat item, they will both need to do it the traditional way of picking up the powder by clearing Aghanom's tower.
Yep, and Skipsy looks like he's making Ice Palace play, while Sakura is going to be making the pod play. And thank you, Ledons28, for the Twitch Prime sub.
And they're just following each other's footsteps again. So, really not much at this point.
Yep, so we're just going to be retracing each other's steps, and while we're doing that, you know, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, definitely go ahead, give both these runners a follow. They've been putting on a great race for us so far. It's a really close one still. So if you've been enjoying it, go ahead and follow both of them. Nope, Willard, there, no swamp yet. But from the looks of it, it's either going to have to be Spike Cave, which nobody's checked, Swamp, or Skull Woods. Yeah, Swamp would seem to be the best play to make as far as items. You have 6 items, and technically, if you are Skipsy right now, it's 7 items. Because you've already gotten the other 2 pendants, so pedestal becomes immediately unlocked. So we could just see a blind pull on pedestal, potentially. Yeah, there has not been a Skull Woods check. Neither runner has went inside of Skull Woods.
Well, I think that the runners are probably both very happy with the seed in general at this point. They've had lots of opportunities to do divergences, but ultimately each divergence has brought them back together, and they've been completing the same areas. We've seen very similar levels of execution across the board, and there hasn't really been any significantly out of the way items.
Yeah, nothing so far, and really the only thing that would just kind of be a mess is that one that we potentially know about with the powder being on the graveyard ledge.
Yeah, you don't like it when a seed is absolutely linear, and you can only go to just exactly one place every single time. You also don't want those where you find everything but one location and then have to check 100 spots for it. This is probably like kind of the dream. It's very balanced.
Yeah, progression's just been really balanced. not linear whatsoever. They've kind of had choices pretty much throughout the entire seed.
It's amazing how close they are to each other as well. I mean, not in the same area of the game, but as far as percentage completed. So we know what Ice has, and we know what Pod has. It's not going to unlock any new areas. Just looking at their inventory here. Well, what are you thinking? We know that they can't get into Turtle Rock without the cane. They can't get into Mire without the flute. Both of those locations are dead to them. Swamp and Skull Woods, we've seen all the overworld locations except for Spike Cave, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, neither Skipsy did not check Spike Cave while he was up there on Dark Death Mountain. Both plays as far as going to Skull Woods without the Fire Rod and being able to do a full clear in Swamp, they both have their merits, because if you run Skull Woods, you don't find the Fire Rod there, you can check the pedestal while you're there to know if you find all 6 items in Swamp that you can just leave without killing Argus. On the other hand, you could just go into Swamp Palace, get the 6 items there, kill Argus anyways. Since you're going to Skull Woods next, if you find nothing there, you've got a good chance of it being on the pedestal and just blind pulling it then.
Yeah, Swamp might actually be a little bit more appealing for Saku. She hasn't, now that she has the mirror, she'll probably want to do the Bombos tablet check, which will work in well with Swamp. She also hasn't done the Pyramid Fairy like Skips did, so that also routes well in with Swamp. That versus the 2 items in Skull Woods, I can see that.
Yeah, right now the most value in one specific area is Swamp Palace. So you especially if you finish Pot off, because you do have to look at it being a 7-item dungeon then, because it unlocks pedestal.
Yeah, and I didn't notice this. I had missed it when Skips went through here, but Pod also had the red mail upgrade. It's what I like the safeties. So anytime they get a mail upgrade, or powder, or even the net, I'll even give the net some love. I like the safety items.
Saku deciding to leave Pod though.
Interesting choice, but she has everything that she needs from there, so it could work out well for her.
Yeah, I think she's going to make the play to Skull Woods now and check the pedestal while she's there. Which right now she's probably crossing her fingers, which, most runners are going to do this anyways, that the pedestal's not required. But even more so because she just noped out of a pendant dungeon.
Even if she has to backtrack to Pod, it's not that long. It's just, it's a quick run with the boots, a quick, dash directly to Helmasaur. It's not really the end of the world.
So now the interesting thing will be if you find Fire Rod in here.
Yeah, and she counted her items too, so she knows that if pedestal is not required, all of that time is a waste.
Alright, so Skipsy finishes off Ice Palace.
Unfortunately, just finding the map instead of a small key in that first chest, Saku has to take the long way around. This Gindu room is no fun at all. That's a little better with the butter sword, though. 2 slashes.
Yep, alright. Well, Skipsy, considering where he just saved and quit to, which I don't blame him at all for this, having the other pendants, he's going to go to Swamp.
Once again, Swamp and Skull Woods are your 2 choices, and once again, we see them taking alternate routes. This is exactly what you want to see as a viewer.
Yeah, and so far nothing actually in Skull Woods. So the only item we have access to right now, unless it's the big key, is this item back here.
Yeah, a little bit late in the game. Still, don't have the cane. This is one of the best places in the game to use the cane of Samaria to push that block. Very annoying to fight with those Giddos. She does have a boomerang, able to stun them, but it's also easy. It's not too bad to work around it. Well, unfortunately, it's a little bit off. Just have to move it more to the left.
I'm just narrowly avoiding that wall master. And Skipsy takes the plunge into swamp.
First chest, mandatory small key.
Okay, just a fire shield there, so nothing in swamp or Skull Woods. So she's gonna check pedestal at this point.
Yeah, Skull Woods is fire rod locked, and unfortunately, she doesn't use the mirror to jump back to the entrance there.
She's actually not gonna check pedestal. And actually, yeah, there might not actually be anything inside of swamp or pedestal. It could be on Magic Bat still.
Interesting not to see the pedestal check. Okay, so it looks like she has not checked Bumper Cave yet, and I don't know if she did Graveyard. I know Skips did Graveyard.
Nope, she went right from Pod to Skull Woods. So she's going to do some mirror locations at this point. Which, I kind of don't blame Saku for not checking the pedestal, considering she left Pod the way she did. At this point, she's gambling it wasn't a pedestal seed anyways. So if you're going to check it at that point, then your decision to leave Pod without just going and at least getting the pendant is kind of questionable then.
I'm not entirely sure I agree with that. I think gaining the knowledge of whether or not you need to go back before diving into other pendant dungeons, it would be nice to know if you have to do it. And we're only talking, I mean, we're talking like a 30-second detour.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see, because more than likely Skipsy is going to finish this dungeon, even if he finds all 6 items, before Argus. And then, at that point, if he doesn't find anything here, he's going to go to Skull Woods, and he'll, at that point, just blind pull the pedestal.
Yeah, he's doing full left side clear. He's committed to getting absolutely everything. And he needs so many items. This makes sense. You just can't afford to skip even one item in swamp at this point. With Saku heading in the swamp, obviously agreeing that swamp is also the right decision.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only option for her at this point, other than, which I believe, like Chat's point out, I don't think she's even checked Lumberjack yet, so she's not aware of it being powder.
Yeah, she's missing that. Like I said, that's kind of why I was advocating for the pedestal check. It's just that knowledge of where you might have to go can help with your decision making. That, and I like I said, I think Spike Cave is still one that we haven't seen. That's in logic, but so far out of the way.
Yeah, but considering considering the logic of Ice Palace, we do have to be finding Samaria relatively soon.
Well, we could find the flute. Oh, there's Fire Rod.
Fire Rod. So yeah, that's going to push you to Skull Woods even more at this point.
Yeah, the flute would be nice too. That will open up the mire area. There's several items there. Of course, they do need the cane to beat it, but the cane can be in mire. So that's a very good place to go as well, if the flute opens that up.
Yeah, but Fire Rod, so as far as Go mode, we don't know on the and Ice Rod.
The Ice Rod. Swamp, a full clear of swamp, absolutely required. Well, a left side swamp, absolutely required.
Yeah, and while we're here, why don't we just give him Samaria too? Just give him all the access to Turtle Rock at this point.
I don't know if it's possible for swamp to be that nice. I mean, the 2 rods already is kind of breaking with tradition.
Yeah, that's the point. There's no middle ground for a swamp. It's either going to be really nice or it's just going to hate you. Oh, $300. And why not 300 more?
They can go lose another 480 rupees to Zora, I guess. And the flute! Oh my god!
Okay then.
Well, you might as well finish it at this point, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's still an extra item because it's the pedestal, and you know those items could be there. And since you're going to be in that area anyways to clear Skull Woods, activate the flute at this point, why not just pull the pedestal while you're there?
And Saku making what we know to be the right play, also deciding right off the bat to do a full left side clear. So yeah, this has opened up quite a bit of progression. I think if you're heading to Kakariko to activate your flute, which is their next step, I think jumping in the Skull Woods at that point just to finish it off makes a lot of sense. We probably will see that blind pedestal pull from Skip and at least a check from Saku.
Yeah, we'll still feel blind pull it if we'll pull the book out and check to see if it's something first. I kind of hope he just blind pulls it at this point. But yeah, so Swamp was loaded this seed. Both rods and the flute.
Saku might not directly save and quit though. She still has the Bombos tablet to check and the Pyramid Fairy items to check, and at least for Bombos, this is as close as she's going to ever get to it again. So it might be worth a little detour.
Yeah, well, there's the Fire Rod.
I mean, despite finding the rods and the flute, it still might be worth a minor detour.
All right, and everybody please rise, take off your hats for the National Swag Duck Anthem.
I love when the commentators don't sing during that.
I mean, the only commentator that I want to sing for that is Dr. Bob.
Yeah, I was looking to see if anyone would say, "Where's Dr. Bob?"
If it's Dr. Bob, I'm okay with it. No, that's like it's like Phantom Ryu in the Cane of Samaria. That's his thing.
Alright, well, this is Skip's first visit to Swamp, so he's going to have to go through the motions here, but might skip a little bit and gamble on the items being in the back.
Skips takes a fall there. Ice Rod was in Swamp Palace, as well with the Fire Rod and the Flute. Which Sakura picks up her flute, and yeah, she's probably counting items, knows Argus has one, so she's gonna clear it at the very least.
You just don't skip Argus at this point.
No, because you're looking at it, it's like, okay, I just got Fire and Ice Rod. I could potentially be just Samaria away from Go Mode, depending on the medallion from Misery Mire. Yeah, and Skipsy's not dipping into Skull Woods. He will be finishing Skull Woods. He has Fire Rod, and more than likely he's at least going to check the pedestal while he's here, if not just blind pull it.
I think if you haven't checked it and you have all three medallions, it's just you just blind pull it out of respect to chat.
Yeah, I think so as well. Just like if Misery Mire ends up being Ether and you get the Murder Dactyl to follow you, you got to do the bird toss. But
yeah, you just have to. I mean, it's tradition.
But Saku gets her heart container, her second pendant. We'll see. kind of see her going back to Skullwoods at this point to clear it out now.
This chest that Skippy is checking is one that I could definitely see him having skipped, hoping that there was no item back here, because it's very, very slow to pick up.
Yep, but his statue is off as well a little bit. And from the looks of it, yep, Sakura's going to head to at least Kakariko. She'll get her swag duck. Then we'll see where she goes from there. Skipsy gets his fire shield.
Well, I would have done a little bit of extra overworld checks while I was there, but I'm not winning, and so she made the right choice. Alright, well, half magic and red mail and butter sword. This will be a very, very, very fast Skullwoods.
Yep, I don't see any problem coming with Masa. Those spikes still do 1 heart of damage regardless of mail, but you've got 12 hearts right now, 15 maximum with fire rod. It's probably not worth too much.
Yeah, he's just literally charging through to give those.
Yeah, whereas Saku is going to make the play towards the Mire area.
Interesting. And our Mire medallion is Quake.
Quake. So, we do not have access to Mire just yet, but it could be here. Or Checkerboard. We got bombs.
Saku has a lot more of the one-off locations left, I think, or at least a few more.
Yeah, she has a few more.
A few more of them. I mean, she counted her items in pods, so she knows she's done on items there. That might make her a little bit nervous that she skipped the Quake Summit at one of those places.
Yep, but okay, chat. Skipsy just finished his Skullwoods. If he's gonna do a pedestal pull, get your hype now because he's gonna go check this chest first. Then we might get the pedestal pull. Saku is gonna go ahead and finish Desert while she's here, though.
That's a good point. I forgot that she had skipped this. We were talking about coming back here, finishing it when you get better equipment, and it doesn't really get any better than this.
Yep, you're not going to ask for much. So I believe the last item in Skullwoods is actually in the big chest.
Well, he's got that mirror out, and he's keeping that mirror out, so that can only mean one thing.
The real question is it going to be a blind pull, or is he going to check?
He's not switching.
Nope, he's blind pulling.
Got the music running in my head. Cane!
The cane!
Pedestal required seed. That is an excellent blind pull.
Yep, so we just need to find Quake somewhere, which more than likely it's inside of Turtle Rock.
Definitely, and that's going to mean that Saku does have to go back and finish up Palace of Darkness. It's not going to be a massive detour, but it is an inconvenience.
Yeah, she's going to have to go to King Helmasaur now, so that's going to put her back a little bit. She's going to have to make pretty much the right plays at this point, and probably just head right to Turtle Rock. I guess Quake could also be in Spike Cave. Nobody's checked that.
Yeah, Spike Cave being a terminal location that you have to save and quit out of, I can expect that they'll check that after Turtle Rock rather than before. Instead, you don't want to have to climb up there twice. But if they don't find it in Turtle Rock, though, then it's a very quick check. Just a little heart piece in the checkerboard cave. So sad.
Yeah, so Skipsy's, I think really all he has is the Death Mountain area, so he's gonna go up there. And we'll see how he decides to do this.
And yeah, absolutely. And Saku will be finishing off Skullwoods. Has already checked everything but the back. So just needs to finish off Mothula, and then of course, hopefully, we'll do that pedestal check and gain the valuable game knowledge that she needs. Yeah,
and actually, chat pointed out one location as well. that we shouldn't keep forgetting about, but Lumberjack Ledge. The powder. Quake could be there.
I don't think we've forgotten about it. We've definitely mentioned it many times. It's just something that you're not gonna check that until you've checked item dense locations like an entire crystal dungeon, to Turtle Rock. Yeah, if they don't find it here and they don't find it at Spike Cave though, then yeah, it's that's what you're thinking.
But Skipsy is going to make the play into Turtle Rock. We'll see if Quake is here or not.
Well, he's gonna be picking up every chest until he finds Quake. At which point, he'll swap over to Go mode and just start burning through the rest of this dungeon, and then jump over to Mire. So that kind of makes me hope Quake is on Trinex, so we get to see the entire dungeon get cleared.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We've got 5 locations inside Turtle Rock and 6 with Mimic Cave.
Saku obliterates Mothula, no trouble at all. Alright, now's the most important moment. Do we get that pedestal check and give her the knowledge that she needs?
I think so at this point.
We both keep forgetting about this last item.
Yeah, she'll do the last item, but I fully expect her to go check the pedestal after this.
Yeah, you've got to feel a little bit nervous about, having not cleared that last pendant, and you're gonna want to know at this point.
It looks like we are gonna get it unless she's gonna flute away. Nope, she's gonna go check.
Making what we know to be the correct call, having seen it.
Yep.
I don't like that message text. That one took me a second to remember that was Kane. I make blocks to hold down switches. What could that be?
Yep, that would be Arcane. Understand she needs to come back here.
And this is inconvenient, but as we said before, it's not a massive time loss. Maybe 2 minutes. I believe she has the big key already and the last small key, so it's just a run to Helmasaur.
Yeah, but yeah, it's not too much of a time loss, but she did full clear this, so it's okay.
Yeah, she does have the small key, so she's good to go. Pick up that pendant, go right back and pick up Samaria, and then be in Turtle Rock, only about 5 minutes or so behind Skipsy.
Yeah, and we still have not found Quake yet, so from the looks of it, we might have to check Laser Bridge.
We're gonna get our Mimic Key check, which might be one of Skipsy's last Light World locations, other than the Magic Bat. He's been pretty thorough with the overworld. Or if he missed something, we've at least seen it from Saku. I think we've seen all the Light World locations other than Magic Bat. And it's Quake!
So we are in Go mode.
Well, that doesn't give him too much in here to skip, but being able to go mode Meyer can definitely save some time if you get lucky with the big key. So I'll take it there. That's good enough.
Yep, he'll check Crystal Roller Room. If there's a small key in there, then he is able to skip Laser Bridge, but if not, he'll have to go to Laser Bridge looking for a key.
And I can't imagine that there's any items that he wants on Laser Bridge.
No, I mean, you've got Red Mail, Butter Sword. I mean, the only thing that would really make Ganon's Tower easier, and it's not necessary whatsoever, would be a Mirror Shield, just to make the Mimics a little bit easier, but not necessary whatsoever.
Yeah, I would have said that the most valuable item they could get at this point would be the powder, but we know where that is.
Yep, would be powder if it wasn't on the Lumberjack Ledge.
Saku killing Helma with 1 silver arrow and picking up her 3rd pendant.
There's the key, so we're not going to see those other 2 chests. He's going to go right to Trinex.
I don't know how he is with potions, but he's got more than enough offensive and defensive power that unless he gets really unlucky, he should be fine even with 6 hearts.
Yeah, I don't believe he has anything. He might have a fairy, but that's about it, if he even has that.
So Saku doing a lumberjack check just in case, because we'll make sure that's not the place where Kane is.
Yeah, well, she knows Kane's there. I think she's checking maybe here for Quake at this point.
That's right. She knows. Yeah, she knows Quake. She did the book check. All right. Well, I'm sure that's at least a relief, knowing that that's not required.
Right, but down goes Trinex very quickly.
I love seeing runners with the butter sword dash through those green pickles and not get shocked. That is so satisfying.
We get the 10 bomb upgrade. Saku's going to pull Hurricane of Samaria. Skipsy gets crystal number 6, and he's going to be heading to Meyer after this.
Yeah, Skipsy is in go mode, and Saku only needs to pick up Quake, which is in Mimic Cave, for anybody who's just tuning in. So she's heading up to Turtle Rock, and unless she skips that, she'll get her last required progression item. And Misery Mire is the last dungeon for Skipsy, which he can go mode it.
Right, but yeah, Skipsy is opening up the Mire. Sakura is heading up Death Mountain. She's going to head to Turtle Rock, where she will get her Quake from Mimic Cave and take down Trinex. So it's about just, Turtle Rock, almost a full clear of Turtle Rock behind.
So Meyer can be a pretty long dungeon if that big key is hiding away somewhere. Really want to find it in this bridge chest or the hidden chest and be able to continue directly to Vitreous. Skipsy skipping the bridge chest, hoping it's right here at the invisible one. Might get lucky. Doesn't.
So just 2 keys. Then we get bombs there.
That's the first of 2 items in the dungeon, so we're gonna be doing the at least a little bit of the long search for the key.
So depending on what this chest is, okay. So big key's got 2 possible locations, I believe. Then could be in its vanilla.
Yeah, it can be on the grate in its vanilla location, or in this small chest next to the big key chest. So 3 more spots to go. I was told by somebody that that all of these torch cut sequences are the same length, but they do not feel the same length. This one feels longer.
I think this one feels longer just because you don't see anything going on.
And that's the absolutely reasonable explanation. It just feels longer. I believe the person who said they timed it.
Yeah, so we just had a map in the vanilla big key location, so we got a couple more locations. Got this great chest and then 1 more chest. And just an arrow upgrade.
Yeah, so one more location next to the big key chest itself. Next to the big chest itself will be the big key. Tongue twisters. Saku getting a little bit low on health here. Definitely gonna have to be careful. It's a little bit safer once you pass through Mimic Cave and have that second entrance to fall back on. But at this point, if she dies, she has to go all the way back to the beginning.
I actually think she still has 2 fairies. I don't think she's used any of the fairies that she caught in Ice Palace. So she should be safe still.
Well, that's a very fortunate that she picked those up, because we're definitely not going to get the powder. We're not going to get any more. I think the next place that there are fairies are in Ganon's Tower.
Yep, going up the gauntlet, the bonk jump.
That and after the Ice Arm Mushroom are the only 2 spots.
Yep, there's that one as well.
And like a dozen overworld locations.
Alright, Skipsy making good time through the dark rooms in Mire. Has to bomb this wall, and then he's got a couple more rooms until Vitreous.
It's kind of hard to choose. Do you use the water sword spins or the silver arrows? Both are so fast.
I mean, you could even use dash strats if you want. You have the cape, so...
You have so many ways to kill this boss.
Quake is in Mimic Cave, so Saku is about to pick it up. He's gonna go for spins, though.
Sword spins, nice.
And just, should be fine, but 2 arrows in a Vitreous.
Yeah, I was a little close there. 1.5 hearts. I don't know if he's got any fairies left. But Saku heading in the Mimic Cave, picking up her Go Mode item right now.
Yeah, and speaking of items, we've just picked up Crystal 7 on Skipsy's side, which means it's time to head to Ganon's Tower. So, with Yep, so with us going up Ganon's Tower, we do have a game here on Speed Gaming where we have to guess the location of the big key in Ganon's Tower. You can choose any number from 1 and 22. Those are the locations that we have in Ganon's Tower. If you are a supporter of the Speed Gaming channel networks, either by a subscription to any of those channels or donating 250 bits to any of those channels, you do have a chance to enter the leaderboards if you are the first one to guess it correctly.
Yeah, and you only get one guess. You can't guess all 22 numbers. Chat. I'm watching you guys.
Remember, Sakura almost finishing up Turtle Rock. Has a couple more rooms to go through. Just this one, the long hallway, and then Laser Bridge.
I feel so sorry for Saku because she's gonna be doing the same route that Skippy just did to get up to the portal, and it's gonna walk right past that can of burnout and not get it. It's so sad.
I mean, it depends how fast Skipsy is in Ganon's Tower. She may just elect to go get it if he's done something like Dot Done just because she wants burner at that point.
Maybe, but it's been mocking us this whole game.
Yeah, she's probably not happy about its location.
Left side first. I don't see those too often anymore these days. Nice to get some variety.
Yeah, usually you see the right side and at least check for the key, but not this time.
Well, Saku has picked up her last key off the laser bridge and is going to go finish off Trinex. Even fewer hearts, unfortunately, down the 3.5. That's chest 2. Heart piece in 3. 4 and 5, nothing.
Yep, just small key and a map. Sakura starts her Trinex fight.
Rupees at number 6. Excellent Trinex, always fun with the butter sword.
I think one more, yep. Down goes Trinex on Sakura's side.
Skip's trying to do the cool boomerang swag strats, but has the bad boomerang, not the blue boomerang, so can't quite line it up.
And we're about to go to chest 7.
This one never has it.
Just 20 bucks.
Alright, coming up on my favorite place, the randomizer room. 8, 9, 10, 11. I am a gambler, so this is where my bet goes.
Alright, 8,300. We got a shovel and 9.
10
is the big key.
So, congratulations, Tosh. You win internet fame for this minute only.
Yep, congratulations. But in the meantime, Skipsy is going to make his way up Ganon's Tower.
I can watch the game again and stop worrying about trying to keep track of the chest count. It's so distracting.
And Sakura's gonna be looking for that big key in Mire.
So, Skip will probably pick up these safety fairies here, I think. Has the net, has the bottle, has no powder, and it will not pick them up.
Hope he likes to skip.
Ooh, don't do that. Okay, what? That's not right. You need 48 bombs, but you don't need the fairy?
No. Bomb strats on Ganon.
Getting a pretty nice positioning on this conveyor belt so far.
Yep, even better in that room.
BMOS even helps him out, gives him a nice bump in the right direction. Interesting. Switching to Fire Rod for Land Move instead of the Silvers. They got away from a little bit there. 8 shots.
Yeah, he got it down low.
Yeah, got him down.
Yes, Willard. Skipsy is in the lead by, I'd say, about 5 minutes or so, if maybe a little bit more.
And he ignores the fairy that's just sitting out there in the open. No love for the health.
No, he doesn't need it.
He's living dangerously.
With Butter Sword and Silver Arrows, that would probably be, I would say, 4 Ganon Balls. Or more.
So, Sakura just has, Saku just has one last chest to get, which would be her big key. And then she will be able to make her way down the Vitreous and pick up her last crystal.
Yep, she'll be picking up. Skipsy is just going to opt to not pick up any chests, doesn't need anything at this point. He's even skipping health anyway, so what does he need it for?
He's not just skipping health, he's blowing himself up. But he is opting for the magic pot at least, so there's a little bit of safety. And a perfect Moldorm too.
Yep. Trolldorm goes down. There's the Mirror Shield.
That's not a particularly useful place for it to be. Doesn't really help you at all. But it really kind of does make you look cool. I always loved getting the Mirror Shield when I was a kid. It was like, I felt like, okay, now I'm indestructible.
Yeah.
All the time. Excellent positioning on this first Aga. Only gets a single though, because he's using the net.
We're getting this right, net strats.
I was like, that should have been a triple. Oh, he has the net, that's why. You gotta feel pretty, I don't know, really confident about your lead to be doing this.
Sakura takes a death but has that fairy. And I think the swag net might have been for Chad a little bit since we got the blind pull on bed earlier.
Maybe, but when you're this close to the end and your opponent hasn't finished, it's kind of a significant time loss there.
Yeah,
he doesn't know that he has the time to spare.
Yeah, but Aga 2 goes down, so Skipsy is going to be off to Ganon.
Chat, because it's a speed run and it's slower. That's why. That's why it's not a good idea. Nice. We got to see both the Silver Arrow strats and the spin strats on the two Vitreous fights.
Yep, Vitreous down on Saku's side. She gets her 7th crystal. She'll be on her way up Ganon's tower now.
Terrible positioning on Ganon when he gets stuck in the middle of the room like that, but wisely choosing to use the cape for the extra safety and gets his 6 hits in to move on to phase 3.
Does take one of those fire bats. It only has a half a heart left.
Yeah, if only he had a fairy, I guess. Oh well.
I mean, he might still have one.
I don't know if he does.
Yeah, I don't know if he does either. I don't think he's used the one that they initially got, so... But he is on the final phase, gets his torch glitch. Now Ganon just needs 4 silver arrows. Gets one of them. And there's the second. Oh, we're gonna find out if he has a fairy. Okay, he does.
Okay, alright, fine. I was kind of, I mean, I'll admit, I was hoping he didn't have a fairy.
Alright, but Skipsy does defeat Ganon, holds his butter sword up high.
Congratulations, Skipsy, with an official time of 1 hour, 57 minutes, and 5 seconds.
Yep, GG to Skipsy.
We'll invite him over to join us, see if he's in the mood. Meanwhile, we have Saku heading right into Ganon's tower. Now, let's see if we get a right side check. Joining us here is Skipsy. Congratulations on your win and your advancement to the 2-2 phase.
Hey guys, thank you. Well, that was scary.
Yeah, that half-heart Ganon was a little close there.
I honestly did not know that I still have a fairy left. Like, I think it was right at the start somewhere. I just didn't think about it. Like, I don't know. Oh my gosh. My heart skipped there for a second.
Yeah, you need a few minutes for the adrenaline to come down. Overall, that was an excellent seed, very well balanced. I think you played it very nicely.
Thank you. I think there were some mistakes, like I bonked a little bit too much. But all in all, besides some minor hiccups, I think I'm quite happy with how I played it. It felt like a version 28 seed though, like where you have more progression in dungeons. Well, that was a bit weird to see. Like there was tons of stuff in dungeons.
Yeah, you were a little bit more aggressive with the overworld, which didn't really hurt you too much. Ultimately, though, like I said, it was those dependent dungeons had both the progression being the pedestal items, but the items in the dungeons themselves. It was all pendants this game.
Yeah. It was refreshing to see kind of Samaria on pedestal. I was planning at some point to just blind pull it and just go with the flow, but I honestly did not expect that it really had some progression.
Well, my first question for you actually relates to very early gameplay. You saw that the powder was on the lumberjack bridge, but then you picked up the mushroom not too long thereafter, but turned it in rather than saving it for a fake powder glitch. Was that something that you had considered?
I considered it very late. Like, I'm normally not doing this. Like, I've never done it, to be honest. I know how it works. Like, you empty your mana and then go to the fountain thing. Yeah. Did Sakura do it?
No, I ended up keeping the mushroom for quite a bit longer, but ultimately turned it in. We do not know what's on the bat.
I was tempted to check if it leads to something, but yeah, probably not. Well, looking at the items we get, probably not.
Were you anticipating a pedestal required seed when you opted to clear the early pendants? Or were you just doing them out of a, I'll clear everything philosophy?
I was kind of toying with the idea when I had my last item in Palace of Darkness. Then I thought, oh, well, there's never anything on pendant, right? Like, on pedestal, right? And then I saw all the items in Swamp Palace, and well, it was a late goal for me, but then I knew it's the pedals. Well, I felt like it's a pedestal seed. You never know for sure until you actually check it. I was tempted to check very early to if I need it, right? We got the book pretty early, and that should have been also a little hint towards the pedestal.
Well, you basically, I mean, you got both of the rods at essentially the same time, which pointed you where you needed to go, and the swords were also oddly placed. You got both sword upgrades. You never even got to swing the master sword, so everything was really clustered together.
It was weird with those swords. I know going through my main back there, I knew I should have gone to Ice Palace, but I didn't want to enter Ice Palace with just a fighter sword, which is also a reason why I checked everything, and I was really happy when I saw first sword upgrade and second sword upgrade. Well, now you can do Ice Palace.
So with this being almost a 2-hour seed, Saku, definitely a skilled player. Were you feeling ahead when you were entering Ganon's Tower?
No. I always feel behind. It's just, I see one tiny mistake, like one bong, and then I don't know what to do. I'm like confused for a second. Then there was this confusion phase in Thieves Town where Skipsy.exe just stopped working. Like, what was going through my mind is you played NMG, and then I was checking if I actually cleared all those chests and not just went NMG mode. Like, those were some minor things where it just felt like I fell behind.
So, I have to ask the obvious question at this point. You went into Hammerpeg's cave and saw the net and decided, I'm not going to get that. Left, came all the way back for the net, did not use it in Ganon's Tower to pick up fairies, despite not knowing if you had any safeties left, and decided to use swag net strats on Agadum without even knowing where your opponent was. What gave you so much confidence to do that?
It was just for the memes. Well, I didn't have any confidence. I thought I was behind and just felt like doing some weird stuff. Like, we're in a 1-on-2 match, right? Like, we can have some fun. And trying some out, some swag net strats is, yeah.
Well, that's pretty risky. That's something to save to a 1-3 because you are still in the match, my friend. You're proceeding to the bracket phase.
Oh, we are. I thought.
Well, if 5-2 is the cutoff, but I mean you're not out of the running.
Oh. Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Oh
probably should save those the pure swag until you know that you're not in the progression anymore.
I honestly think I was out. Like, oh, yes. Then I can totally understand every question you have. Where is Saku right now?
Saku is entering into Aghanim 2 at the moment.
Oh, cool.
So really only about 12 minutes behind at the end. Looks like it's going to be. Is also using the swag net strat. but swag dashing with that. All right. So did you guys plan this in advance?
No, we definitely did not. But swag nets are superior strats. Just do it in your races.
Well, once your opponent finishes the race, then this makes sense. But I was surprised. I was surprised to see you do it. I was surprised to see you walk past all the fairies that were literally like you had to dodge a fairy at one point.
I'm a weird person. I'm a really weird person. When it comes to like, hey, I don't want to waste a second here. I can do it on my own. Like, I don't need a fairy.
So if you just hang on a minute there, Skips. We're gonna take a look at Sakura heading into her Ganon fight, and then after the completion of her fight, we'll bring her in for some final words. So if you can just hang on a minute.
Sure.
But yeah, she had some glorious swag net dashes we're gonna have to ask her about. So she butter sword, of course, same thing, 6 spins each of the first 2 phases. Definitely has fairies. She went to Ice Palace and picked up 2 fairies using the net for its intended use. So it's on to phase 3 and pulling out that safety fairy. So I think she has 1 left, but should not get any more hits at this point. Those bats are really the only things you gotta watch out for.
Yeah, shouldn't have to worry too much more any longer.
Absolutely. 1 more hit for phase 3, and then oh, that is amazing. Hook shots to the torch through the bat to get the torch glitch. I love that. I've never seen that. She is just showing off at this point. And a double coming in.
1 more. And then down goes Ganon for Sakura.
Excellent. I loved that hook shot with the fire bat. That was just so sweet to watch. So good game for Sakura. Only only 12 minutes there gives her an official time of 2 hours, 9 minutes, and 8 seconds. So excellent race from both of our runners.
Yeah, with her finishing, we'll see if we can get her in here for an interview.
While we're waiting for her to jump in, I just posted the link to follow both Skipsy and Saku. That was an excellent race, very well balanced, great execution from both players. Good sense of humor in their end game, even if I think Skip might have been a little bit ahead of himself there with the net, but good sense of humor nonetheless. So give him a follow. So while we're waiting for Saku to join us here, any final thoughts here, Skip? We got some time.
Well, actually, it was pretty cool. Like, I love those seeds where you just rush through with boots. Like, boots are the best thing in this game.
Yeah, very early boots. How do you feel about starting with the hammer? Was that your weapon of choice?
It's okay. I would prefer starting with the fighter sword, but it's fine. Like, I can do a hammer start. I think the bomb start is really horrible. I think that's the worst. Like, it's not about killing the guards with bombs, which is already really risky. It's catching that one rat in the sewers with bombs, and this is horrible.
Absolutely agreed. Welcome, Saku. Amazing Ganon fight. That was so much fun to watch. I loved the hook shot to the torch through the fire bat, and the swag net dashes on Aghanim. You were holding nothing back for the crowd. We loved it.
I am normally much better at swag net dashes, but I got knocked out of place. I could have got a triple. I was so upset. I could have got a triple, but I got knocked out of place because I actually didn't press the buttons at the same time. So it makes me sad.
It was a joy to watch. You put on an excellent race for us. Your execution was very impressive. Your routing was essentially very similar to what your opponent used. This seed gave you guys excellent opportunities for divergences, but ultimately kept bringing you back together. Very close race and very fun to watch. So thank you for volunteering to be restreamed.
Yeah, it was funny because like I didn't mean to go. Like I did something really weird at the beginning because I meant to save and quit to Sanctuary, but I don't know if it was like, for some reason it took like 100 years for my arrow to go down to Sanctuary, and so I ended up just going to Link's house. I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to the dam now, and then I remembered that it's really difficult to get through that crab area without the sword when you're dashing.
Yeah, unfortunately, you did go a little bit longer without getting your first sword, dealing with the hammer up on Death Mountain, places like that. But ultimately, it wasn't too much of a divergence. You got the Master Sword and Temper Sword. Like I told Skips, you didn't even swing your Master Sword before throwing it into the pit and picking up Tempered.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah, no, I did a bunch of different things this time, and I think I would have, I don't know, I would have done a little bit better if I had planned properly. Like, right when I first saved and quit to the wrong spot, like, I was already annoyed. And then when I was falling to freaking Moldorm a million times, I was like, that's it! I'm not leaving, I'm not, like, whatever, this guy is going down. I don't care how many times I have to do it.
Yeah, we could see the steam coming out of your ears at that point. It was breaking through the headset on your Sprite. Yeah, and you kept hitting the middle hole too for the two floors.
I had to go down the middle hole every time, except for the one time. But
except for the one time.
Yeah, it was like, oh well, I'm tilted at this point. So then I went to Pod, and I didn't have any rupees. And it's like, oh my god, everything's going wrong today.
Unfortunately, we saw that one coming for a while. The rupees. And,
I saw that I had access to Dark World and that I had Eastern and Pod, and I was like, I could go to Pod and hope to find the mirror in there. But I don't have enough rupees, so let's go to Eastern instead. And I meant to go to that rupee room in Eastern to pick up some rupees, but I totally spaced. Again, this is the second race in a row. I meant to do that. I totally spaced, and yeah, it was butts. But I'm happy that I found the net. I almost left it behind, and then I saw it was the net, and then I was like, wait, nope, gotta go back.
Yeah, you did the double take. You went in, back out. No, I'm gonna go back in and get that. So I have to ask you, it's kind of been a running joke the entire race for you. How do you feel about the blue cane just sitting there mocking you the entire time?
Oh, I was so sad. I was so sad that it and I knew at that point I couldn't get it. I would have lost. Obviously I did lose, but I knew I couldn't get it because it was like, if I go out of my way to get it, I will definitely lose. So yeah, I was sad that it was just sitting there and I couldn't get it. It's my favorite item.
You walked past it like 6 times.
Yep. I know. Trust me, I was sad.
Well, the cane is merciless, it's ruthless, it's evil. It likes to mock us, but that's the world we live in. That's Hylian magic at work.
Yeah. Skipsy, what did you think of that freaking swamp palace? Had like 3 items in there.
Yep, fire rod, ice rod, and flute.
Yeah, I found the fire rod and I was like, oh my gosh, now I've unlocked Skullwoods, this is awesome. And then I was like, well, I'm not gonna mirror out just in case. And then I went to the big chest and there was ice rod. I was like, there's no way that I'm gonna find another item in here, but let's just keep going just in case.
Just to be sure.
Yeah. And then sure enough, the flute was in there too. It's like, oh goodness.
And of course the pendant.
Yeah, well, oh man, because of my weird routing at the beginning, one thing I didn't check Lumberjack Cave until like 100 years later. And then when I did check Lumberjack, I was really nervous because powder, and I had handed in my mushrooms, so like no fake powder. So yeah, I was like, oh, this is it. I'm done. GG. It's over.
Sorry, I was muted a second ago. Like, that was a crazy swamp palace. I totally agree. I was really scared. Like, every time you go left side and you don't know where your opponent is, what do? Do you do left side now? Do you not do left side now? Well, I always do left side, so gotta check out left side.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
when like I said, when you guys go watch this VOD, you'll see that your play was ultimately very similar. Your collection rate was only off by 1 item in the end.
Yep. I did weird things, and it, like, having to go back to pod 3 times was really bad. Like, the first time not having any rupees, second time to go and half finish the dungeon, and then third time to actually finish it so I can get the pedestal item. But that was actually significantly closer than I thought it was going to be. Yeah,
it was fun to watch. Skips, moving on to 2-2. Unfortunately, Saku 1-3 is, it's below the 5-2 cutoff point. But we really hope that you'll keep going because you're a joy to watch play.
I would never quit, no matter what. No, you know what? Honestly, I'm actually kind of relieved. Like, the tournament is fun and everything, but it was so much pressure today, and I think that's like one of the things that really got me, like, right at the beginning. Is like, I was like, this is the race that could decide whether or not I continue or not, and that, like now I don't have to worry about that. But good luck, Skipsy. You have to keep going, like.
Well,
no pressure.
our commentator friend, I forgot the name, I'm sorry. But I was going into this match thinking that we already can't make it to the bracket stage, right? Like, I was just doing my race and stuff and having fun. And yeah, now I feel the pressure again.
Yeah, it's well, you're on the bubble essentially every race from here on out. I pointed out to Skipsy that without seeing his opponent having completed the race, doing a lot of swag strats might not have been the most speediest option, but it turned out that he had a few minutes to spare. I don't think Sir Lancelot has any more questions. We're just talking in chat. Either of you guys have any more comments before we go ahead and wrap this thing up? It was a very fun race. I'm glad you guys were able to join us.
Well, GG Sakura, I think I totally missed that when I was muted. Well, it was a fun race. Thank you for doing this, like commentators, trackers, everyone. It's a lot of work. And of course, Cyclone for the restream.
Sir Lancelot, do you have any other questions?
No, I mean, questions, no, but just, shout outs to Sage Figaro for doing our tracking today. Everybody behind the scenes that are getting these races going for us. Thank you to Sakura and Skipsy for putting on the good race for us to even watch. And thank you for co-commentating with me.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for commentating. I know it's rough on Tuesday early week races. So you guys picking up the slack and commentating, it's a huge appreciation to everyone in the tournament. So and of course our tracker, I'm assuming that's Sage. Thank you so much as well. Again, really appreciate it. I really enjoyed racing you, Skipsy. It was a lot of fun. We'll have to do it again.
Sure.
We'll have to do it again with no pressure this time. Because I think I can redeem myself next time. So yeah, thanks again so much, you guys.
Well, thank you to our runners. There are links in chat to follow both Skipsy and Sakura, as well as our tracker, Sage Figaro. Thank you for that, and thank you to the Speed Gaming staff for doing the restream. There are 6 other channels in the Speed Gaming network, as well as 4 in the ALTTP Randomizer network, streaming races throughout this tournament. There are literally thousands of matches throughout the 3-4 months that this tournament is going to run. So you can catch something on basically any time of day except for Sunday nights, since we have our cutoff there. I encourage anybody who's watching this and like what they saw to give it a try for themselves. It's a lot of fun. The barrier to entry is very low. If you thought this was a little bit hard, there are easier modes, there are other game modes, there are more difficult modes if you absolutely hate yourself and you want to make yourself miserable. There are modes for people like that. But most important, the community is incredibly inviting and welcoming, and the development team and support staff are always adding new content and new features. So I would love to see you guys join us for the fall tournament, and there will absolutely be more content to come. So I am Tiru. Thank you to Sir Link a lot and Twitch chat for helping us out. Good afternoon from all of us.
Good afternoon. Thanks for watching, everybody.